should.
Be a little bit closer, it's gonna pick up.
No, it should pick up. It's picking up everything right now.
I mean, it's gonna pick up background talking if we don't move it closer.
No,
Okay.
no, we should be fine. I can control the gain. Should be going. We should be okay.
All right. Does anybody have the internet? No for online?
It shows good.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I'll start talking and just have to do it again if it's not going. So, welcome everybody. This is the Anime Detour Cycle 2025 October staff meeting. Thank you all for joining us. There's a good chunk of people here in the Hyatt Regency with us, our event hotel. I imagine there are a good chunk online as well. So thank you for joining us. I'm in my natural state, which is reading a PowerPoint to you. However, we don't have any text set up to show the PowerPoint. I will actually be sending it during the meeting. I know I've been sending them around after the meeting. This one will actually go out during the meeting. You'll know when. So, thank you again. The theme today, you probably can already guess if you've been following any of the emails or the Discord, but we are going to be going through our brand new staff housing and badge policy. So, hope that you are excited about that. I definitely hope you're excited about it by the time we're done going through it.
Related to that, there is QR codes to sign in. Make sure you sign in so you can qualify for both of those policies.
Always a good
Or if you're online, follow the link to sign in online.
Yeah, so a few quick updates before we get to the really fun stuff. We do have put out several guest of honor announcements. That is pretty fun. And there are more coming. I'll say it now, even though I'm probably going to say it again in a minute. We do still need an actual head of guest relations. Buttons has been doing an incredible job, but she is also a vice chair, and at some point it's going to be impossible to keep doing both of those things. So please do apply for that if you are at all willing. Or even if you're willing to maybe play a larger role at the convention itself. That might be the plan for this year, is just to have somebody managing things for the convention without taking on the full role of head. So if you would think about doing that, let us know, especially let Buttons know. And again, there will be more guest of honor announcements soon. We are having a hotel tour today. Probably doesn't matter to anybody watching online, but the people in this room, I know some of you have already told me you're going on it. That will be at 2:15, and the tour is not completely full. So if you didn't tell me you wanted to go, but you're sitting here now going, I don't know, I guess I could do that, you can. We do have some spaces left, so join us, stick around.
Watching online, they can still make it as long as they're at the hotel by 2:15.
There you go.
Book it down here.
Jump in the Yeah, and look at your screen the whole time for this meeting instead of paying attention to the road. Yeah, and finally, I do want to say thank you to every department. We got timely budget submissions from absolutely everybody. That is key to this process, so I really do appreciate that happening. And I think we have them all back to you. I think, Niketa, you were the only one that didn't come.
Oh, yeah, I sent it back to all my department heads, so.
Okay, so yes, I do believe that we have all of the approved budgets. The board did approve the overall budget on Tuesday. So I think we have those back to every department. If you are sitting there going, I don't have mine, do email the chair team as soon as possible. That was obviously an oversight.
If you have questions about your budget, your division head should have explained it to you, but reach out to the division head for any clarifications. I think we pretty much approved everybody at what they asked for, and a couple people more than what they asked for.
There were some cuts, but I think people generally knew what they were and where they were going to be.
Yeah.
All right, just going through the divisions and any new information there. I'll start with my own grass division. We do have the final department in grass division has a head, so no headless divisions in grass. That is Robbie Pham for video gaming. I don't think Robbie is here. But thank you, Robbie, for stepping up. And if anybody else from IT, merchandising, programming, themes, video gaming, or volunteer consuite would like to make any department announcements, this would be a good time. No. Okay. Water division, that's Mike's division. We do still have several open departments. facilities and reservations that may or may not be one division together.
It's probably gonna be one department, but we can do it separate if people want to apply for only one half of it.
So we're still looking for that. We are still looking for room parties. Besides that, if marketing, operations, registration, or photography have any announcements. No. Surprisingly, October is kind of quiet. We just got budgets. The
Well-
early stuff that needed to get done has mostly been done, and
I
we're
can switch
now-
hats and say, as reservations, we do have announcements. Attending rooms did go live about an hour ago, actually. So they are up for everybody to reserve. I know there's been the standard, people can't figure out how to use the system. The system's getting a little bit hit hard, so the websites aren't always processing things proper, but it is going through for all of the attendees today. I guess we'll just cover the staff one with the rest of the staff
Yeah.
housing issues.
I think that makes sense. But yeah.
According to the comments on Facebook, it looks like they're sold out already. Well, I
I've
don't
seen that
know.
comment in the Discord as well. They have to set it to a Friday through Sunday check-in. The default when you go into the website, for some reason, is like Wednesday through Tuesday or something. You have to narrow it down to Friday through Sunday or it will not find it.
Have we pushed that information out?
Several times.
Okay.
It's in the announcement itself if people read the announcement.
Okay. So I presume then they can expand their reservation after they get into the right thing? Is that also
There
true?
is some Thursday rooms available. There are no attendee rooms for Wednesday or checking out Monday. I think there's like 10 that can check out Monday, but there's none that can check out Tuesday. It for some reason just shows up. But if I do, it's Tuesday through Wednesdays for some reason.
Okay.
But if I tell it Friday through Sunday, find it. Well, no, they may have, it's not finding Friday through Sunday, so it may actually be sold out for the Friday through Sunday now. I'll have to verify that, with Jackie, but, yeah, so we may be sold out of the Hyatt now, which won't be surprising either. Usually in hours, about on pace for us to sell out.
But obviously reservations will continue to work on that.
Yeah, so I'll have to
do
monitor that
what
more.
needs to be done.
But the Hilton and what is currently the Millennium, it's about to become a Sheraton by the time we get to it, should both still have overflow spaces because we have lots of rooms at that.
Stanley just walked in. You don't have any photography announcements, do you?
Not right now, no.
Okay. All right, fire division. This is Buttons, so I'll do my best. There are no new heads, but there is a new department. We kind of teased it already, but the charities department is a thing we are trying to make real. I know that there have been some meetings amongst a few different staff members, generally doing other things, but with the potential of forming a charities department. So we are officially calling that a department now, and we do have an open position listed in the leadership application.
Also, just filling in for Buttons.
Yeah.
She did have some announcements for the guests side of things.
Yeah.
First round of guest announcements are done. Second round is going to social media soon. Still working on contracts for a few more guests. More exciting announcements to come. And if you're interested in being a guest liaison, please apply in Eventney so an interview can be set up. The end.
All right. And then, I think the new charities and guest relations as a permanent head are the only two openings here. Does Artist Alley, Cosplay, Exhibitor Hall, or Tabletop have anything for a department announcement? And now the electric division, which I think has been the most active over the last month.
Yeah. We've had a lot of stuff going on. I know Liz has some comments she wants to make, so I'm saying her name to give her warning to be about to speak. One note here is that Tabby from the logistics department has taken a step back and is just kind of gonna chill out of the main leadership role for the next con cycle. So I'm stepping in as interim logistics head. With that said, the con locker has been cleaned out, but we are slowly getting through inventory. Most of the departments that have major inventory in there have already done. So thank you merchandise, thank you volunteers, thank you ops, and thank you to tech who finished just before I got there. There are a few more departments that have pretty significant amount in there, or at least some stuff they should probably take a look at before the next con cycle, before they start spending money. Those departments are registration, volunteer con suite, themes, photography, video gaming, and tabletop gaming. I'm gonna send an email after this to the 6 of you, just saying, wrapping up what I'm saying now, and saying, hey, can you set up a time with me to come to the locker, take a look at what you have that's labeled for your department, see what you have before you go spending money on anything.
And just to clarify slightly too, Tabby is staying on staff. She's just stepping back from the head role.
Yep.
So she will still be around to help us out and make sure we don't lose our way.
Yep. And so yeah, thank you to the departments that already had inventory done ahead of time. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I will now give it to Liz.
Oh, real quick before Liz. Do you want tech updates from Bruce in the chat now or after Liz?
Let's go let's go after Liz.
Okay.
Since Liz is standing.
I don't have to be awkward up here, it's fine. Hi, I'm Liz. If you don't know my face, now you do. You've probably heard my voice, and if you haven't, I am sorry. Hopefully you can hear me with my teacher voice. Basically, what I want to say is there will be an all-staff email going out within the next 48 hours. That will have a lot of information related to Eventany if you haven't already done that. I will also try and post on the Discord. Discord is not my friend, but I will try for you guys. But there will also be a department head and or sub head email that goes out, and I really need you guys to look at that. If you are not on Eventany as a department head, please sign up. It's very important. I've had people that have been waiting to be a part of departments for months that aren't at this point in time. There's also going to be some really cool forms to look at. Our new disciplinary form that we're hoping everybody is going to start using.
But we never need to use.
That goes without being said, Cass. But at least we have it now. I am going to take suggestions from you guys, so going forward, if you could make sure that you look at that, understand what it is, if you have any questions, staffing@nvdtour.com.
Thank you, Liz. Yeah. you wanna
Okay,
give tech?
so tech updates from Bruce. It says that some of the team assisted with the inventory day yesterday, as Cass mentioned. Panel kits are squared away. They will need to start pricing out options to replenish the speakers that they have and other various upgrades for their tech, for the tech stack. Cass met with Bruce on Friday with Avex at the Sheraton to get quotes started with second stage design options, and then after NebraskaCon this next weekend, he will be reaching out to Encore for getting prices started. And then finally, they will be developing an internal tech request form in the coming months for tech needs from con departments as a whole.
Cool.
Excellent.
One other quick note from me before moving on is that for all of the department heads for mine, I set up electric division office hours. As I said in the email, these are totally optional. You don't need to come unless you have questions for me, want to annoy me, have anything you'd like me to do, or have anything you'd like to pass along to the chair team, or just want somebody co-working with you while you're working on con stuff. Those are the hours I've set aside during the week for me to work on con stuff, to try and make that a bit more consistent in my life and for everybody else's. For the rest of the department heads, if you would like to set up a one-on-one meeting with me, please let me know. We can get that set up at whatever frequency works best for you. Just whatever makes you feel like you are, being kept going.
Yeah.
I don't want to bog somebody down with meetings.
I really applaud Cass for doing that. I am not going to be doing that for my division. My life does not currently work that way, or I can tell you that I have certain hours. But please do, if you're within my division, or really anybody that wants to talk to anybody on the care team, primarily still send an email to make an appointment. But yes, if it does make sense for you to go to Cass's office hours, that is a great option as well.
And if you're not directly one of my department heads and you're in one of my departments and you would like to attend these office hours for whatever reason, reach out to your department head and they can send you the meeting link. Mine are currently Monday at a time and Thursday at a time that I totally remember offhand.
But it's in the email. In addition, there are more electric division announcements because accessibility does now have a head, Sherilyn B. I don't see Sherilyn. But we do have a head, and we do have Kaida as an accessibility subhead. They are here, so hey. I don't assume you have any more you want to say at this point, but you can if you want to.
Not currently.
Okay, cool. So accessibility is in good shape. We should have thorough coverage there.
I can check that for this one.
Sure.
And we've also added a new department to the electric division. That is the video production department. This is going to focus on a lot of our streaming efforts and general video production and videography, trying to improve, the camera work, our outgoing stream from Anime Detour, as well as trying to develop some content to play, between the major streams at the main event stage, developing those ahead of time so that we can play them during the con, recording key panels for upload and for playing during the stream, and editing all the video, all that sort of stuff. Managing the video streaming tech stack, managing the cameras, all sorts of fun stuff like that, all kinds of videography stuff. The department head role for that is now open on the application. We have one applicant so far, but if you are interested, please reach out. Please fill out the application. If you're somebody who just wants to help out in the department, whether you want to operate, one of the video cameras, do some video mixing, learn video editing, or use your video editing skills, please feel free to. I don't fully remember if we got that on the event link yet, but we will if we don't have it yet.
It is.
Cool. She's way ahead of it as always. You can put that on the event link, or you can shoot me a message, and I will pass that along to whenever we choose a department head.
Yeah.
And if you are interested in being a department head, this is a little bit of a collaboration between tech, photography, and marketing. So we have a number of resources from all three of those departments that are kind of being cross-utilized here. So there is a good base already set up for the department. So don't be afraid that you're coming into something completely cold.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I would support that, and we tried to have a pretty thorough process. We talked to all of those departments that were just mentioned to sort of define, why are we doing this as a separate department? What do what's kind of still within your own departments or the existing departments, and what is now within video production? And obviously, these departments are going to talk to each other a lot.
Yeah.
But we thought it was distinct enough of a task that it made sense to be its own.
We also approved it a budget, so you're not coming to this with $0.
No.
There is actually a budget set up for it.
Ideally, this department head will have some good experience in videography, video editing, and streaming, things such as, maybe not necessarily all of those things, but some of them. And we're kind of wanting them to be able to take this department, guide it to be something that they see will improve Anime Detour most.
I think that was, I have a lot of notes on that one, but I think that's all of them. Okay. As always, please apply for the remaining openings. I'm not going to read the URL out loud because it's kind of long.
I can post it in chat.
But I posted in chat. I'm also going to be sending around this PowerPoint in a few seconds, and it's the same one that has been sent around in the past. So you should have the link in a few places. Are there any ATC announcements? I probably should have brought it.
Yeah, just
let
drop it on
Christina
me.
know that I was going to do this. But you've done it yourself at every other meeting, so.
Well, I wasn't sure what you were not a lot. We don't have our ambassador team going to these conventions, but Anime Fusion and NEPCON are coming up very soon. So a lot of our staff cross-work at both of those, so they're busy. We are going to have ambassadors at Twin Cities Con and Colossal Con North, which is cut next month, so yay. Then for ATC, we did just vote to change the time of our board meeting start to 7 p.m. instead of 6:30.
Yay.
It's exactly the same. We just need a little bit more flexibility for everyone to get ready after work. And then we are still looking for treasurer, and then we are still looking for some other open coordinator positions, special events, communications, and charities. That's it. So that's it. Yay!
Thank you, ATC.
I have a question, not in regards to ATC treasurer side of things, but for the detour side of it. How are the department heads, who do they go to for spending their budget without having to take it out of their own pocket? Like, what's the process
Yes.
with that, with her being gone?
That's a really good question that we don't have an answer to at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, at this moment, reimbursement is probably the model, and it might be a little while. So, talk to us. We'll figure something out. But yeah.
But follow up on that one.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, that is a valid model currently. If there's approved budget for department heads to spend money.
Yes.
And feel
You
safe
can,
being
yes.
reimbursed.
I would say if it's anything over $1,000, or anything that in your own budget is hard for you to just take on, definitely email Share Team ahead of time, and we should be able to
I
connect
just
with
wanted
you.
to
And
clarify that that's the
Yeah.
status we're in. So.
Yeah.
Make
If it's
sure-
in your budget, spend it. We'll get you the money,
Yeah.
or let us know, and we've got the credit cards too. If you don't want to put it on your card.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Thank you.
we can make arrangements, but yeah, we are making this up a little bit right now. All right, time for the main event. So let me send the email that I had ready to go. It's going to active staff. I hope that's everybody, but I will actually give it a minute and see. Well, I'll start talking, and I'll check in after a slide or two and make sure that there's not a mass comments in the chat saying, no, we didn't get that, or comments in the room saying that no, we didn't get that. You feel free. I'm sending around both the fully written policy as a Word document, which is sort of the more formal policy language. I'm also sending the PowerPoint that I'm reading from that is a little easier to work through and understand. Look at whichever one makes you happier. So, the new staff badge and housing policy. Starting off with how you qualify for these benefits, there are two distinct benefits. The staff badge that is paid for, and staff badges have a couple of perks. You can get into Artist Alley and dealers a little early. There's a few other things you can get. And then the second is the staff housing benefit that I will explain a lot more because that has changed more than anything else. But yeah, both of these benefits have existed for a little while, and we are making tweaks to how you qualify for these and also what they are. So, first off, as far as how you qualify and how we know you're qualified, your department head will vouch for you. So make sure that your department head knows what you do. If you do not currently have a head, as in your department does not currently have a head, then it will be your division head. And if you are general staff, if you do not belong to a specific department, then it will be staffing. So Liz will be vouching for you. So again, make sure that you know that your department head knows who you are, or your division head, etc., and what you do. We're going to have two different times that vouching is done. One of them pretty soon here, shortly after the hotel block opens. What's that?
So there has been no email.
Okay, no email?
I haven't gotten it either.
Mm-mm.
Did you actually send on your end?
I think so.
I did see him hit the button.
Oh. I've got a mail delivery subsystem not liking what I sent it to.
Use the event and you can email everybody.
I
in the
don't
event
know
staff
if
list.
you 100% have access to email the address. Because we were just testing it. We never actually
Yeah.
and I can't get into admin on my phone. It just crashes every time I try.
Okay.
Can you send it as an Eventney message?
I don't
Not
think you can
quickly.
put attachments in Eventney.
It'll go out afterwards.
Yeah, I think that's probably the answer right now.
So on that note, this is also another reason to, as Liz mentioned earlier, make sure you're signed up in Eventity, because a big part of how we are verifying you're on staff is we are using the Eventity staff list. So if you want to be on staff, apply through Eventity first.
Yeah.
Please and thank you. Eventany is your best friend, I swear.
I know the all staff works. It also goes to people who are not currently in Eventity. Do you think that's a problem?
Question for a different time.
All right, move on.
Yeah.
All right, move on. You just have to listen to me, and hopefully I can explain this properly. So there will be two different times that vouching happens. So one of them is very soon. So that will obviously be what we expect that your duties will be for the year, and then we will have we'll do that so that you can have confidence if you've booked a room that it is going to be covered, that you qualify, that you're in the program. We will have our final confirmatory vouch January 31st. So all department heads will need to do that by January 31st. That's a ways out. We will remind you several times before that. And that will also be our deadline for the year. So do make sure, if you are considering being on staff and you're listening to me now or in the future, and January 31st is coming, make sure you have definitely signed up in Eventney by then and connected with your department head. Make sure they know who you are, because you will not get benefits if they don't by January 31st. Yes.
Two questions. This is going to be my first time staffing.
Yeah.
So one, I don't necessarily know what every group is. I noticed it's just click one of them, or do you click multiple for if they need to be moved? And two, how do I know who my staff head will be?
So to answer the first one, click anyone that you're interested in, and it will send a notice to all those department heads, and then you can talk with the department head, get more information about it, which will then also answer your second question. As for figuring out what the departments are, if you're at a meeting like this, talk to Liz back there, or talk to us after the meeting, and we
So-
can actually explain the departments to you and try and
Listed on
find one that
eventually
fits.
Under the applications is actually a general, what this department does
Oh.
as well. So that, and they should have been updated. If they aren't and it looks wrong, just let me know and I can update that, but they should be updated, so that is another way that you wanna do it. We also do list in the PowerPoint who currently has a division head, so
Yeah.
you can find out the name of
Yeah,
that
so
division head too.
quick question and answer recap in case all of that didn't get picked up on the microphone. The question was, if you are new to staffing, how do you know both how to apply for a department and also who your department head is? In Eventney, there is an option to select multiple departments that you're interested in. There should be at least a little blurb in Eventney about what each of those departments is. And then once you do say that you're interested in those departments, you should get a confirmation that that connects you with your department head. And department heads are also listed currently on, I believe, on the website, on the leadership page, as well as in the PowerPoint that I swear we will be sending around
You
once
should
we
be good
figure
to
out
send it now.
email. What's that?
You should be good to send it now.
Oh, we'll try.
But it will only go to people that have signed up in Eventney.
Okay.
And if you sign up in the last 2 weeks, you might not be on the list yet because behind.
Okay. Let me see.
If you do not get that email staffing@animedetour.com and we can forward it to you.
So we're trying to resend the email now. If you don't get it, email staffing@animedetour.com, and Liz will forward it on to you.
Could you restate what's in this email?
This is the PowerPoint portion of the updates for hotel and bed.
I didn't reattach the attachments.
So we're doing 2 emails here.
And why does no email service that I'm aware of at least have a retry email? Shouldn't they have that? Doesn't this happen fairly regularly that something goes wrong?
Google does have it if you want to To set it weed so out like the 30 seconds, you can hit undo.
And I have to close the PowerPoint before I can send you the PowerPoint. We are so good at tech.
Your test email worked.
This is why I'm
Yes,
not
the test email
in the
worked.
tech department.
Saving the day with the computer.
Now I will reopen my dang PowerPoint. I can keep reading from it.
There it is.
There it is.
Well, that's the second try one.
Yeah.
So the third try will probably come through.
There we go, yay.
Yay.
Hey.
So everybody should have the PowerPoint now.
We can email.
You want a gold star?
We are, yes. Wow. We are on slide 9, by the way, if you're opening the PowerPoint or if you open the Word, this is what we're talking about. So, the Word document is just the new policy. So anyway, we'll have that vouching happen twice. As far as how do you qualify, all work that you do as a volunteer, as staff, will count. I know there was a discussion in past years about, is it at the convention, is it before the convention? We don't care. If you work for Anime Editor, it counts. There will be something called task qualification. This is generally going to be for department heads and subheads, though I know there are staff as well that don't have either of those titles, but they still have sort of discrete, known, I will do all the work and be responsible for X. If you do any of those things, and it's pretty obvious at a glance that those are going to involve 18 hours of work or more, then we just need your department head to tell us what it is. A brief description, it doesn't need to be real complicated, just let us know what the task is, what the responsibility is, and you are good. You don't need to count your hours, you don't need to try to account for it. I know for some of you, the numbers would get ugly and it would be frustrating to even think about. So we're not going to make you try to track that, we're going to say, good enough, you're in. 18 hours is the threshold for both the badge and the housing, so you're good, you're done if you're task qualified. Next up is hourly qualifications. So this is for most people without a title. You primarily do shift work or other kinds of hourly work. Again, all your shifts, if you come to these meetings, if you come to department meetings, I know a lot of departments have their own meetings. If you do any kind of meetings like that, I know a lot of departments have at least one get together through the year of, oh, we've got this one task that takes 12 hours, everybody get together and do it today. If you do any of those count. All of your work counts. We do want then a counting of hours for people that fall into this category. However, we are not requiring any particular way of doing that. I know Eventney does have a shift scheduler tool. If you like that as a department head, cool, use it, and it will probably give you a good accounting. If you like some other method of keeping track of it, that's also cool. Any common sense method that will record or approximate the hours that your staff has worked is acceptable. We are not trying to be, auditors here. We are not trying to dot every I and cross every T. We're trying to make sure that staff get staff benefits. I already said 18 hours is the threshold for the housing benefit, 10 hours is the threshold for a free staff badge. If you work out that hourly rate, it's actually not that good. So I think it's perfectly fair to set it at 10 hours will get you a free badge to the convention.
So there is a question
Yeah.
in Discord going, will there be a link to being able to buy a hotel room at a staff discount? Or is it just the same link but differentiating
Yeah.
differently?
The question is, how do you make your reservation? Is there something special you should be using? And the only special thing you should be using is the staff housing link because
Yes.
we have a special
Yes,
block.
So yes, use the staff housing link. If you qualify for the room, we will go and pay the Hyatt for you. You won't get charged anything. If you qualify for a partial refund of the room, we'll pay the partial amount and then you'll pay the rest to the Hyatt.
Okay.
But everything will go through that one link.
Yes, so we'll actually cover that, have
Yeah,
it
we'll-
a little
we'll
bit
get-
later
we'll
in
get to
here.
that a little bit more
But
here, yeah.
it's a good question. So yes, you will reserve the room. Nobody should be being charged any significant amount for their hotel room at the time they made the reservation.
The Hyatt has told me they won't charge anything until actual check-in, so.
I know there were a lot of concerns about that. I understand them, but I think we've got it figured out. All right. So, how does this wind up working? What is the housing benefit? And it turns out there are two different versions that we're going to do this year. So method one is brand new. This is my brainchild, so if you hate it, it's my fault. Like we just said, you will make your own reservation with an event space hotel. So that is the one I'm sitting in right now. The Hyatt Regency is our main, or the Millennium, eventually Sheraton, that is across the street. We have event space there. If you didn't know that already, I know we've said it a few times, but we have event space there this year. So either of those hotels is fine to book. That hotel room that you book is your hotel room. I know one of the issues that I think I was most concerned with, I've heard plenty of comments concerned about, was the laundry list of rules that was attached to staff housing in the past. Because we are doing this on a different model and it is not an Anime Detour room you're sitting in, it's your room you're sitting in, most of those rules do not apply. Obviously, follow the law. Don't do anything that you wouldn't normally do in a hotel room. If it's a bad thing to do against hotel policy, it's also against detour policy. Use your common sense. But it is your hotel room. You will have to put a credit card down. Again, I know this panicked people a little bit. This is just because you're booking a hotel reservation. Hotels require you to do that. There's no way to get around that. The reason they do that is because they want to have a card to charge in case you put your parking on the room, you order room service, you cause damage to the room, you do some other incidental. They don't want to have to hunt you down later, so they need a card on file. So you will have to put that down. And Anime Detour is not paying for any of those things, right? Parking, I think, is the biggest one because most people will need to have parking. That will remain an expense you have to pay. Apologies, we can't cover everything, at least not at this stage. And those other things, room service, damages, and other incidentals should not happen unless you cause them to happen. So. Yeah, go ahead, John.
I don't know if you got to this part. It says how many people to the room.
We're about to
getting
get
to
there.
that.
Yep, very next thing. And yes, this is what we mentioned to the last question. This is not a reimbursement. So we will be contacting the Hyatt Regency or the Millennium and making sure that they know Anime Detour is covering all or a portion of the expense of this room. Do not ever charge it to the person who made the reservation. So it's not a reimbursement. We will pay before you have to pay. So yes, then probably the biggest question on everybody's mind is what do you have to do to get a partial or a whole room? So if there is just one staff member in the room, and again, you can do that. You can stay all by yourself. You can stay with no more than 3 friends in a hotel room who are not staff members. But you can stay with the people you want to stay with. That's part of the point of expanding this is you can kind of be where you want to be. So if you are the only staff member in the room, then we will pay $50 per night towards the cost of your room. If there are, by the way, the current price is $130 for 1 or 2 people, $155 for 3, $180 for 4. So I'll let you work that math out. But it's a little better than 1/4. It's kind of the idea. And if you're the only one in there, it's better than that. If there are 2 staff members in the room, then Anime Detour will pay $100 per night. That is at that point most of the expense of the room. There is also a special asterisk on this. We recognize that some people are doing a lot for this convention. I mean, all of us really, but department heads, anybody on the chair team, yeah, we gave ourselves a benefit, sorry. And anyone else who can provide good cause when we put up the form for why they really need to have just 2 people in their room, can apply to have it fully paid with just 2 people in the room. So please do be aware of that. I know there are people with special circumstances, and again, we want to make this something that you can use and that will give you the benefit you need. Yeah, in the back.
So we actually weren't gonna do a hotel room because I was worried about sharing it with someone with a dog, but if it's just the 2 of us and my service dog, would that be something that would qualify?
Let us know. Probably.
Yeah,
Yes,
we'll
so-
talk about that, but yes, that would be one of those things that we could make it qualify for.
Yeah, so the question again, to repeat for the stream.
Online.
Yes. The question was if somebody has a service dog and so wants to only have 2 people in the room because that's a pretty big thing to accommodate for a different roommate, would that be a good something to apply for this, what I'm talking about right now, a fully paid room with 2 staffers? Yes, that's a great example. Do submit that. I don't want to promise anything ahead of time, but there's a real good chance that's going to be a yes.
Just follow up to that, you could definitely have, like, you can go book your own room, get that $50 reimbursement and just sit in it yourself. Is that allowed, or
Yes.
is there a requirement that if you're gonna have partial reimbursement, you have more staffers in it?
No,
So that would be an
no.
option
Yeah.
also. If you're not worried
Yeah.
about getting the whole room reimbursed, you can just have 1 or 2 staffers.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't have to fill it up with other staffers.
Yep, correct. The question was if you have some other concern and you want to just have a room all by yourself or with only 2 people in it, can you still do that? Yes, that's the point of being more flexible and having the reimbursement scheme we do. You can still get some of it paid and have whatever room situation you want to have.
And just to kind of piggyback on it, that is really the main reason why we switched to this model this year, is that we wanted to give people that flexibility to get more people access to the hotel rooms. If they were the only staff and their significant other didn't staff, we didn't want to block them out of getting rooms. If you only wanted 1 or 2 people and you had, for whatever reason, did not want a room with strangers, we didn't want to block them out of hotel rooms. So this is very much why we are expanding the policy. We just had to do it in this way to do so.
Yeah. And I maybe should have even said this before I got into the complicated stuff, but if you have 3 or more staffers in your room, it's fully paid. So that's the simple way. If you can find 3 people on staff who you can stand to spend a hotel room for the weekend with, it's fully paid.
What about the people who don't know other people on staff?
We're getting there.
Okay.
Yes.
And you can have, if you have 3 staffers and 1 non-staffer, it doesn't
Yes,
matter.
As long as there are
Also
3
totally
staffers
fine.
in the room, it doesn't matter who else is in the room.
Yeah, we want to know that just so we make sure that we know what your room is and we get it properly figured out with the hotel. But yeah, essentially, do you have non-staffers in your room or don't you? Completely up to you, will not change the benefits that you get. All right.
One more.
Yeah, one more question.
One more, sorry. You guys were mentioning like having, what was the benefit again for the 3 staff members?
The 3 or more staff is totally paid.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so for that, if there's 3 in there, you were talking about 18 hours for the housing threshold?
Yes.
Is each one for 18 hours then, or was it the total 18 hours? I'm just
Yeah,
wondering.
it is 18 hours per staffer that gets this benefit. So, yeah, you become a qualified staffer at 18 hours. We need 3 qualified staffers in the room. I didn't repeat the question, but I hope it was obvious based on the answer. All right, so then we know how much we're covering per night. Which night are we covering? Friday and Saturday are a dub. You obviously are here for Friday night, and Saturday night we're covering that for everybody. If your reservation, since you're booking it yourself, includes Thursday night, Sunday night, or even Wednesday, I know that is a few people, me, you can do that. We will seek an explanation for any nights besides Friday and Saturday. Again, we're going to have a form that goes out where you connect us with your reservation. So we do need an explanation. But we know that many staff legitimately need those extra nights to effectively do their work and travel to and from the convention. Again, this isn't an audit process. We're trying to give you what you need. We just want to understand it so we're not, in the dark if people are trying to play silly games. So it's just the smallest of checks. We just want an explanation. Why do you need that night? And we'll okay that night. On that note, I know, I think there was already a comment on Discord, I'm not going to call anybody out, but about, oh hey, you should just book Sunday night into Monday, and that way you don't have to worry about 11 a.m. checkout on Sunday. I get you. That's really expensive. If you are working all day Sunday and right up to the staff dinner and beyond, and you're staying for staff dinner, by all means, book Sunday night into Monday. That's fine. Again, if you need it, take it. However, if you are just saying that 11 a.m. checkout is really annoying, I wish I had a little bit more time, we are going to have an option in the form for late checkout Sunday. So we are also going to try to get that done ahead of time. We're going to try to have a list to the hotel again, since we know who you are, and say, we just want late checkout for all of these rooms. There's an expense to that as well, but it's a lot lower. So we're going to try to make that be a group thing as well. So if that's the big concern, is just it's hard to find a time Sunday morning to get your stuff out, but you do think you can reasonably at some point on Sunday do that, please select that instead of staying another night. Again, if you need it, take it.
It's over $100 difference, so please just use the late checkout.
We want to provide you with what you need. Please don't abuse that. Right. And then there is the housing benefit method too. And this is if you've heard everything I've just explained and been like, all right, cool, I guess that sounds neat. I don't want to book my own hotel room. I don't know a bunch of other staffers. Then guess what? The way we've been doing it for the last 2 years, we're still doing that too. So if you want to be assigned a room with 4 staffers who, you will be assigned roommates then. If you don't want to try to figure it out yourself, you just want us to kind of figure it out for you and put you in a room, that remains available. So you'll apply a separate form with the staffing department. Like I said, we will try to fill those up, so we're going to try to put 4 people in the room. Could be less. We're not going to put more than 4 people in the room. Everybody gets a bed, I promise. And that room cost will be fully paid. The only complication on that is that, again, you should still bring a credit card to the convention with you. Because if you're going to put parking on it, if you're going to put room service incidentals, all those things that I talked about before, you definitely need to make sure you're prepared to take that cost on yourselves. Please don't make us hunt you down. We will have that as part of the agreement in the form of making sure that that's clear that you are still responsible for that. But the cost of the room itself will be fully paid. And we will attempt to accommodate, again, all requests regarding what nights you need to be here. We'll have a few different rooms, I imagine, like this, so we should be able to make that work. And then if you have requests as far as what genders are in your room, we will try to respect those as well. We do understand if you're rooming with people you don't know, you might have strong feelings about that. So we will attempt to make that true as well. Hopefully that is clear enough, but it is what we did last year and the year before that. So if you did that and liked that, you can still have that. I have a note in here. We'll have to come after you if there's any damages, so please don't break the room. If you do, things do happen. We understand. Please do report it both to the care team and to the hotel as soon as it happens. It's obviously a lot better to figure it out right away and deal with it than make it something that we have to hunt you down for later. So.
We do have all your addresses, so it won't be hard to hunt you down.
Yeah, and I noted in here, it's kind of obvious the way this all rolled out today, but the full written copy of the policy, you should be holding. If you're following along in this in any sort of way, if you are watching this in the future and you can't find a link to this, do let us know. I think we're going to have it in an available Google space as well. All right, I'll give it a minute.
Got all the questions. Is there any more
There is
questions?
something in
Okay.
chat that I
Yeah.
missed earlier. Bruce asked if there's going to be training sessions for the department heads on using EventNe to its fullest. That had been planned for last year, but it never actually happened. So I was wondering if that's going to be
Yeah.
something this year.
So the question, probably hope gets picked up well enough anyway, but the question for Bruce is there going to be EventNe training for department heads? I hope so. That is definitely something that I want to do. We haven't actively put it on the calendar, but it's a good thing to raise and I think a good thing to do, definitely a useful thing. So I think the answer is almost certainly yes, and more forthcoming. Along those lines too, we have been talking about how to roll out this thing, and I just said department heads are going to vouch for all their staff. And you might be a department head going, I am. So we will definitely be having meetings with you about that. I think probably it's going to be a spreadsheet template, sort of like the budget template that most of you got. I think it's going to be the easiest way to do it, but
I mean, we'll take any verification. You scribble on the back of a cocktail napkin and send it in. We'll take it. We'll look at you funny, but we'll take it.
I have to check that.
Let her do a form. Let Liz set up a form.
Yeah. But yeah, so you will definitely be hearing from your division heads about how to do that. Again, this is new. I promise we'll work with you and make it make sense. All right, moving on. The other thing that I was promising and that department heads already know we've talked to you about is the event space. We do have a little bit more room this year than before, but I promised that I'm going to send around a draft of who has every room, what department controls each room in the hotel. That is pretty much done. I have it all written out already, but we're doing that tour at 2:15 today. There's a couple of questions we want to answer while we're on that tour. There's a couple of people we want to do final check-ins with, make sure that we understand what they're asking for before we release that draft. The draft will then be sent around before the end of this month, October. There will be a short comment period. I announced this a long time ago that I want to do this in 2 phases where I say, here is the grand plan, and then I have a period where people can go, wow, your grand plan sucks, and comment before it becomes the official grand plan. So we will do that. There will be at least a couple of weeks of that, and then I hope to have the final announcement at or before the next staff meeting. When is the next staff meeting? It's Saturday, November 16th at 1 p.m. That would have been more impressive if you were looking at the PowerPoint. So yes, it's Saturday, just over a month from right now. It will be at the Minneapolis Central Library in the boardroom. That's 300 Nicollet Mall in Minneapolis. We will put all of this up in the Discord. I think that's the most common place that we've been listing it. I am trying to figure out a way to do a shared Google Calendar where we can also put these things that used to exist.
We still have that.
It's not working properly.
We've run some testing with it, and it's not coming through on everybody the way it should.
No,
Weird.
we can't even figure out how to get Cass to receive it, and yeah. So we're trying to figure that out. We might just have to make a new one. Not that big a deal, but we're hoping to get that in place as well, so that we don't just have to announce each one of these and make people check constantly. If you're looking at the PowerPoint and you're on the second to last slide, you will see I also have all the other dates for meetings in this cycle figured out. Not the postmortem, but everything up until the convention itself. So we do have all of those dates. I'm not just going to read them aloud, but you can check there for yourself and see. We are trying to get this a little bit more streamlined and make it easier for you to know what's going on.
For those of you that are new, as we get closer to the convention, it goes from monthly meetings to 2 times a month for meetings, just as things ramp up. So that's why those dates, there's more of them after
Yes.
December.
Semi-monthly is the correct term, not bi-monthly.
Repeat.
What's that?
Repeat.
Oh, sorry. The comment from Liz was that once we enter the new calendar year, we do ramp up the number of staff meetings. We go to 2 a month instead of 1. So yeah, there's an early and a late January and early and a late February. There actually is only one in March, because if there's a lot of things you haven't started doing in March, kind of in bad shape. And we actually intend to use that for training, which we haven't talked too much about, but more on that to come. So look forward to that. Basically, I don't think, at least for a long, long time, we've really kind of had a sit-down battle plan. Sort of, this is what's expected of everybody during the days of the convention itself. And I think that would be a helpful thing. So we're developing that right now. We're looking at what some other conventions are doing, trying to put together our own plan. But that will likely be a lot of what the March 15th meeting is. And we will be, for real, requiring somebody from every department to be there. So something to realize is coming in 5 months. And then I just have my basic thank you slide with all of our emails. chairman@animedetour.com is the easiest way to get all of us. The other ones are our names. You've probably gotten stuff from most or all of us already.
Just as a bit of a roundup on my part, logistics head, while I'm stepping in the interim, if you do have experience in the logistics department and are interested in stepping up, please send me an email. We can talk about it. Volunteers is also open, especially for the AtCon side of things. If you have experience in the volunteers department, please reach out. There's a ton of great documentation, thanks to Hope et al., developing into that. And video production department head role is open. You can apply for it through the linked form on the organization chart site.
Yes. Also,
One last reminder, if you have not signed in, do it now, because I send the attendance immediately after the meeting.
yeah, so
Yep.
Liz just reminded, if you have not signed in using, if you're in person, our lovely orange clipboard up here, and QR code, which I haven't signed in, that please do that right now, or if you are online, I think there's a link to click, and you should also put your name in the chat. Is that the deal?
Mhm.
Okay.
And another position I also forgot to announce, we did get a new subhead for video for AdCon Ops, and that is Lauren Barish.
Did any departments realize they had an announcement at the very last minute?
Or any other questions that come through on anything?
That's the other
Anything
point.
at all?
Nothing in chat.
All right, then I think we can shut down the video. We are about 20 minutes out from that tour, so we'll hang out the usual meeting after the meeting, and then we will get going on our tour.
Can you talk with anybody? Do it now before the tour.
Yes.